you're pretty much dead in the water. You don't have anything, you're home. So there's a lot of online home workers, a lot of online people that would rather start businesses online because where they live, there is no other form of transportation, at least according to them or their needs that's suitable. So their business startup concept would not consider the viewpoint of going to a business meeting physically unless there is a commuter. Okay, their commuter style may be I have to walk, get to the van pool, get to the train station, get to the next train station, then get to walk again all the way in to my seat. Those that commute that far of a distance, they actually understand the viewpoint of I'm trading and I'm going to go through all of this to understand the business concept at a business meeting. Whereas those that are at home reverse it all the way backwards. I took my walk today down the street, went back inside, walked back inside, sat down at my mobile device, and I got product training on my mobile device or my service oriented product viewpoint or how the service was going to be presented. So, those that have that viewpoint of where you're at, some at that point, I'll tell you that place that I was visiting, it was very freezing cold at night. Very, very freezing cold. But the view was beautiful. I got a chance to take my walks, and it was my first time in that area and understanding and conceptualizing that there was a train passing by a few blocks down. So I couldn't hear the train. Those that live a few blocks down could hear the train. So in that area, the business and the employment area by the train area had the laundromat, had a small little grocery store, and it had a small little like I don't know if you would call it a doodad or like little trinket type of a store. And then but then in the opposite direction where the freeway was, there was a restaurant, and then there was a gas station, and then there was a kind of like a trinket store. And I had gotten my first set of American Indian handmade earrings from there, from a family that distributed there. And I looked at their label, and it was handmade, and I was very, very impressed with it. And I thought, okay, this is their business startup. Their, I would call it consignment at that location. They might call it retail. They might call it distribution and their retail process. So they drop off their product at that person's location. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember how many times, but several times a month for their product to go out into the market. So when I reviewed that, I processed the view of Department of Transportation doesn't have mode of transportation over there, but there's other forms of transportation. And then there are other areas to do business, but your business startup doesn't come from the concept of I'm trading time for money like a job. I'm trading my walk for money. I'm trading. There is not as much of a trade if you understand the viewpoint of the mobile device, this computer. If there's internet and everything, then they're looking for an online option. They're not looking as often to travel if they can't or if they don't want to. um, if they wanted to partner with the family that does handmade American Indian products and crafts, they could just go to their website and ask questions. Hey, do you by chance have an option for me to work side by side with you? You can even partner up. If I was still doing publishing at that time period, I could say, hey, I'm doing a write up and a book about this type of thing. Can I partner with you and focus on your company? You can do a partnership in that type of a way. So that would be kind of a business startup or a business viewpoint or business collaboration. When there is an expert that says, well, it's not going to make enough money, some people aren't looking at the money option depending on financial literacy processing. So, financial literacy processing allows a person to go into their viewpoint and say, this is my financial plan. What is the financial plan going to look like? And how does that play a part into owning a business? Now, here's the part that I kind of stress a lot more of is understanding what a business is, which is why we started with trades first, because we have employers because they have a company. So everyone looks at even network marketing viewpoints where you're thinking there's a pyramid, there's a CEO, there's a corporate, there's an entity, you have an employer, you're getting employed in there, you can flip the whole thing. Yes, you can. But the problem is that if you don't understand trades, then you don't understand the pyramid at all because you won't understand the flip-flop process. So when you go in to teach and coach and mentor or work with, there are people that do not understand. Well, I'm talking about a business. No, you're not, because you're still an employee. You're still a part of a business. You will always, for the rest of your life, no matter how you view it, from the age of 18 legally in the United States of America versus anywhere else in another country that starts in 15 years old, 14 years old, some 12 years old, they are already working. They're already in a business. So when you look at a business startup and you're talking about, well, I'm going to be a part of a business, they already are. Everyone is, because there is a corporation that owns them. When they are owned, nobody wants to lose them. So you have human resources. Human resources does not like dealing with the argument of where's our humans? Now we have robots. So there is teacher turnover, there is retail ownership turnover, there is another Apple, there is another hiring process, there is another recruiting process because there is a turnover. When there is a turnover, it's because people don't understand that you lost someone that was already sold on a business into another business. So employees transition from one business to another business. Same thing with a business startup. When you are taking a person, a human, you are doing human resources, not just business startup. It's not just a business to open somebody else's business. It's a business in which you are resourcing a human that's already owned by another human, an entity. So when you have that viewpoint and you're trading, you're technically trading humans. Okay? You're going back and forth between trading humans. So the other viewpoint that some might conceptualize a little bit better is sports teams. That's why you have so much investors into NFL. You have so many sports teams going into, well, let's trade this human player into this team for this human player, and they flip flop. Okay, same viewpoint, same concept. The idea process is to allow people in a business startup to understand some of the vocabulary to hit home for their learning curve and allow them to blast into how they can make a sale. Because if their contacts aren't seeing that viewpoint, they won't hit home with, oh, you got a business started. Great. Yes, but I'm a human and not a robot in front of you, and I'm starting my corporation as opposed to being owned into another corporation. The corporate status isn't so bad. I like it. I have to say, I mean, you're sold into a company that's already solidified in their wages and the salary and the pay scales. What you're doing is allowing people in a business startup, if you are the one starting a business, it is a part of your training to understand what vocabulary goes with my area and my area of expertise, or what do I have to learn most. My planning in this process, and the reason why for this video, is to allow a person to personally develop themselves in that type of a process. Hi, I'm Stacy. I go by Kanani. I'm a personal growth coach and a personal growth mentor. I also do professional growth coaching. I do those types of things, but I do it on the side only as needed. And I'm sharing that at the end of this video because at the same time and in this process, not everyone wants to see personal development, self-help, go and get help. Okay? A lot of us say, well, what's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with you. It's just a different area of expertise. Okay? My area of expertise is in allowing someone to understand where I come from, my training, my process, and why I see things differently, because the view of the arguments stems from a trade perspective. And that trade perspective comes from some having that negative perspective of, I've already traded, but I've traded a different way. Okay, that type of a plan and that type of a process goes a very long way. So I hope this helps those of you that are doing business startups. Look at your training, what's already provided to you. Think about the vocabulary that's being provided to you. And then look for different options and opportunities to learn what you're missing. Because even as a business expert for myself or the trainer can't spend every single moment with you all the time. They don't know you, they're just getting to know you if it's a human to human. If it's a robot teaching you as a human and you're watching videos, they won't understand you because you have to get to know you. So, in getting to know you as a person, I get a chance to share that I don't know the person that's even viewing this video either. So, in this type of a training video, you would want to say, hey, I don't know you, you don't know me, but I'm starting a business on my own. This is what I know, this is the vocabulary. This is what I would like to do, this is what I would not like to do. But my personal growth has to grow a little bit more to allow me the vocabulary to train and to allow my business to grow. Not everyone can do that. Okay. So look for those types of opportunities online or in person. There's different wealth building seminars, there's different types of coaches out there, there's different ways of viewing things. Go back and see what there is so you can tie it into your view of a business expert. Again, if you are just brand new watching this type of a video, enjoy your learning about any type of trades and how much you would like to dive into trades and the vocabulary of what you are trading in the beginning so that you can take your learning curve to the next level for what you are trading and opening for yourself. If you're an expert watching this video, thank you for even spending this time on my video and the time that it's going to take for you to even review or do a self reflection. Do a self reflection, look at your training and the type of vocabulary, and whether or not some of it has to be tossed or added into so that you can allow others to be taught by you as well. So thank you. Have an amazing day. Y'all